Hey mathematicians, let's do your homework. Okay, so it's two-sided. I'm going to start on the side that says absolute value practice. All right, in this number line, we have you. Oh my gosh, you look great. And we have your house. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see. We have your house on one side and your dog on the other. Your house is at -5, your dog is at 5. If you're standing right there at 0, looking so fabulous, which one is closer to you? You need to explain. So you're going to say, my blank is closer to me because. So I'm looking for a full sentence. Tell me why. Explain whether two numbers can have the same absolute value. Explain means you got to write yes or no, like yes or no, and why. You can choose any two numbers you want. Some numbers will not have the same absolute value. Maybe some numbers can have the same absolute value. Determine is a word that means like solve, figure out, tell me what the answer is, the absolute value of each of these numbers. So when you see these lines, that means the absolute value of, and the number inside is -5. Remember that absolute value means distance from 0. How many spaces away from 0 is this number, -5? It's 5 spaces away from 0. You can never have a negative answer to this because you always have to travel space, whether it's on the positive or the negative side. You are actually moving spaces, and therefore your answers will always be positive. Does absolute value mean the same as opposites? If you're stuck, maybe give yourself some examples. What's the absolute value of 5? That is 5 spaces from 0. What's the opposite of 5? If it's also 5, then maybe they mean the same thing. If it's not 5, then tell me why they're different. Which location, whoops, I went too far. Which location has the greater absolute value? In order to have a great, which means big, absolute value, you need to be far away from the number 0. So Death Valley, we want to find the absolute value of that. How many spaces away from 0 is that? I don't know how to say this one. Vostok Station, don't know where that is, has an absolute value. Figure that out. Tell me which one has a bigger absolute value. Now, I know that positive 134 is bigger than negative 128. That's not what this question is asking. This question is asking which of those two numbers is farther away from 0 on whatever side of the number line they're on. All right, let me move my face. There I am on a new side. Hello, still me. Which integer is greater? I did not say absolute value. I just said integer. So which one is greater? -50 or 25? Tell me either the answer, number. Okay, that's good. I would prefer -50, 25, and you choose a less than or a greater than sign. That is even better than just writing the answer. Which integer has the greater absolute value? Okay, now we're talking about distance from 0. Which of these two numbers is farther away from 0? So in order to create a sentence where you're using an inequality symbol, you're like -50, the absolute value of that is greater than the absolute value of positive 25, or less than, whichever one you think it is, you need to actually solve these first before you compare them. You don't need to write out the answer, but you need to think, okay, -50 is 50 spaces away from 0. So really, when I read that, I'm thinking 50. 25 is 25 spaces away from 0. So really, I'm thinking 25. I'm comparing their absolute values. So which one's bigger, 50 or 25? Put the right symbol in the middle, somewhere here, and flip the page. All right, I'm on the back page. I didn't even fill it all the way. There's empty space at the bottom. So these are really lightning fast. What's the opposite of 4? -4. That's all you have to write. The opposite of 4? -4. Moving on. You can do the opposite of 17. You can do the opposite of this. You can do the opposite of this. I didn't even ask you the hard questions. If you want to think about a hard question, it's not on the homework, but a harder question might be, what's the opposite of 4? Two opposites. So the opposite of 4 would be -4. What's the opposite of that? Oh, we're back to regular +4. So when you have two opposites together, spoiler alert, this is going to come up a lot in our next unit after starting next Monday, 2 opposites, 2 negatives together might actually make it back to positive. All right, last one. Plot, that means draw a dot. Plot means draw a dot on the number line, draw a dot on the number -5, and the opposite of -2. 2 dots. Don't even have to label them with any letters. And now you're done. I hope that you are feeling ready because we have a test tomorrow. But test tomorrow means that you're not going to watch my YouTube till next week because there won't be any homework this weekend.